Why do Tjino and PabloWingu have a point to prove? Did Shark and Tjini stream snipe Hottie and Fishix? And who's going to win the Divisional Cup final? All of that and more in today's EU review. So it's been over a month since the last Divisional Cup, but they are now officially back. And after 2 days of opens, Tjino and PabloWingu were the team that finished in first. And they put on an incredible performance. I mean, take a look at their match history from day 2. They got a 19 elim win, 2 17 kill games as well. They were playing incredibly. And listen, these guys are one of the top teams in EU for a reason. They are both incredible at fighting. I genuinely put Pablo and Tjino both inside the top 5 fighters on EU. They are at that level, and they demonstrated their ability excellently during this tournament. I mean, let's take a look at this game where Tjino finished on 13 eliminations just by himself. As you can see, they're chasing down Acer in the 2v1, but they don't panic, they don't overcommit. Pablo goes around the other side to create a pinch, and Tjino simply waits for Acer to come to him, sprays his gun, and closes out the fight. It's really good teamwork, and honestly, most of their mid-game fights do go down like this. They have great chemistry, great understanding, and when you combine that with their pure fighting ability, it's not hard to see why they are one of the best teams on the entire region. Now, Tjino and Pablo are coming into this tournament with a point to prove because they recently came second in the FNCS Grand Finals. They actually came second on both days of competition, being beaten out both times by Sky and Scroll, and listen, there is absolutely no shame in that. They'll be unhappy around the circumstances surrounding the loss. They of course were defeated off spawn in game 11 when they tried to land on Sky and Scroll over at North Battlewood Boulevard. Venno leaked that Fredoxy allegedly wanted them to practice this spawn fight, but they didn't want to, and if this is true, then well, perhaps things could have been different. But that second place was still a ridiculously consistent performance, and with this first in opens, they are genuinely putting a case forward for being one of the best teams on the entire region. Will this be the finals where they can finally take their revenge on Sky and Scroll and claim their first Divisional Cup title as a duo? I'll get into my predictions later on in the video. But yeah, in summary, Tjino and Pablo, great fighters, even better performance. They are in ridiculous form right now. Now, taking a look at the top 10 from the opens round, you can see that it's absolutely stacked. We've got Vico and Malabuka in second place. They of course just came third in the FNCS Grand Finals, so they're in incredible form too. Vico in particular played incredibly. He had the most eliminations and the most damage, so a really impressive individual tournament from him. It wasn't that long ago that he had a nice streak of finishing on top of all the damage and eliminations leaderboards, and it's nice to see that he's still got it in him. He is genuinely such a talisman of a player. We've got Truly and Gonzo in third, more on them later on. Dexy and Fighto, the new duo, in fourth place, and then we've got Akira and Karama continuing their resurgence, having failed to qualify for the Summit Land through the FNCS Grand Finals, then winning the second chance qualifier, securing 3 out of the 6 victory royales in that tournament and looking absolutely dominant. These guys have hit form. No other shocks in this list. You've got Sky and Scroll, the reigning FNCS champions, easily qualifying. Shout out to Sato as well. He qualified with his new duo Podesai, and he had the most assists and the highest damage ratio, so a great tournament from him. Here's a list of some of the other big names that qualified for finals. As you can see, maybe the team that sticks out is Mr. Savage and Velo, and they are also continuing their recent spike in form. Of course, they failed to get past heats and they didn't make the FNCS Grand Finals, but they then finished inside the top 8 in the second chance qualifiers to secure their passage to the Summit LAN, meaning Velo is now qualified for a LAN without even having ever made an FNCS Grand Finals, which is just a crazy stat. But these guys are looking great at the moment, and I'm really excited to see how they get on. Now, one of the big battles we had during this tournament was between Shark and Tjini and Hottie and Fishix, and there were some stream sniping allegations being thrown around. If for any reason you don't know, both of these duos land over at Wonky Land, and it's been an ongoing saga throughout the past few weeks, even the past few months, but they do contest each other there, and Shark and Tjini will do anything to get that POI uncon, as if Hottie and Fishix are there in finals, it's going to limit their performance. So there have been allegations of Q sniping, of stream sniping, and listen, this isn't something that I agree with. I'm not going to comment too much on which team I think is in the right, because that's not what I want to get into, but I will say that Q sniping is pretty inevitable, and at this point it's almost a part of the game. There's definitely a line to this, and that potentially has been crossed before by some of these teams, but listen, I am super excited to see how the spawn fight goes. I'll discuss that more in just a moment. And actually, whilst we're talking about this duo, Venno had a really interesting take about Tjini. I'll play the clip for you now.
I have the best IGL in the EU. It is not Sky. Although I didn't watch that much, I think the best IGL in the EU is Tjini. Everyone I watched on EU, I didn't really watch that much. I think I only watched maybe Tjini, Pablo, Pink, and Sky and Scroll. And out of everyone, the only person I ever gave a compliment to is Tjini. I messaged Tjini after a cash cup. I watched him play and I said he's the best IGL in the world right now. Actually, maybe not the best IGL in the world, but I said like best IGL in EU. Or like he's hella smart or something.
I actually don't think this is a ridiculous take at all. Tjini does not get enough credit for how good of a leader he is. He has such a recognisable style of play in terms of setting up lurks. His strategies from Wonky Land have been on point. And listen, I do think he deserves more credit. Is he the best IGL in EU? I'm not sure I'd go that far. I do think there's other names like Sky that probably are a bit ahead of him, but Tjini definitely deserves more credit for his ability. Now, unfortunately, not every big duo is able to qualify, and Swizzy and Pixie narrowly missed out on the top 50 needed, coming in 52nd place. And listen, I thought these guys had put a relatively disappointing Grand Finals performance past them when they came first in the Reload Elite Series Opens on Sunday, but this wasn't the performance they would have wanted to have. Yes, they're not a million miles off qualification, but it is definitely a missed opportunity for them. Of course, in that Grand Finals, it was a Jekyll and Hyde performance. They were really poor on day one, coming in 48th place overall, and they didn't win off spawn against Truly and Gonzo once. In the second day, they dominated off spawn, looked incredible, and easily secured their qualification for the Summit Land. So we know these guys have quality. Unfortunately, we won't be able to see it in these Grand Finals. Queasy and Venno also played this tournament together. Venno is of course waiting for Curve to come to EU, so the reigning NA Central FNCS champions can play together in Germany. But for now, we had the return of Queasy and Venno. Unfortunately, it was not a 6 out of 12-esque performance, as they did not make it into the top 50. In terms of Queasy's future duo options, we don't know for sure who he's going to be playing with. Potentially a move to NA Central might be on the cards. He played with Velry for Reload, but they of course did not get back together for this tournament. Velry actually did qualify. He played with Uppal, so credit to him. And looking down the list, you can see a lot of other big names missed out. We won't be seeing Mongrel and Lixium in the finals. This was their first Divisional Cup together, to be fair, so we can cut them a bit of slack. Existing duos like Yapko and Panzer and Nebs and Nathan missed out, as well as some newer teams like Pink and Murstache, Vanya and the Frizzy, which I do believe is probably just a temporary duo, and of course Ping and Wox, who are waiting for their breakout performance on their return as a team. Now let's run through some predictions. A couple of honourable mentions first. I do currently have Shark and Tjini outside of my top 10. They are contested over at Wonky Land, of course, by Hutty and Fishix, and I do believe that because FNCS has been and gone, it's possible that this fight may be very griefable. Hutty and Fishix may just care more about winning the off spawns than actually doing well in the tournament, and this could potentially limit Shark and Tjini. They are still very much capable of a top 10, even the top 5 finish whilst contested, but for this one I've got them finishing just outside. Khan and Faded also have huge potential to do well from that split, but I can't quite fit them in. And with Truly and Gonzo, yes, they're uncontested at Dark Dominion, which is a great situation to be in, but after their day 2 performance in the FNCS Grand Finals, where they got dominated by Swizzy and Pixie off spawn there and became 49th on the day, I do wonder if they may be targets for a team to surprise contest them, and because of that I can't quite put them in the top 10. So now let's get into the list. In 10th place I've put Chap and Flixie, and you may be thinking, why do you keep putting these guys in your lists when they never seem to break into the top 10? And honestly, that's a valid question, but from looking at this map, I do believe they have the quality to get in. Surely they're going to turn it around at some point. Uncontested New Sanctuary, I know it's not the greatest spot on the map, obviously with the bus paths with getting shot out of the air, but surely it should be enough to secure a top 10 finish. They are of course very much capable of it. But Lucy and Zangi are the team I've got in 9th place. Now they of course qualified for the Summit Land through the second chance qualifiers, so they've got some great momentum going into these finals. With Painted Palms uncontested, it's a really favourable situation for them, and I do think they're going to do well. I've got Cammy and Hari in 8th. Just like Chap and Flixie, this is a team that, whilst they have undeniable quality, have not been in great form lately. But yet again, I can't underrate how good they are as players. I can't underrate how good their drop spot situation is, and from that kind of area they should be doing well. 8th place I do believe is fair. Akira and Karama I've got in 7th place. Now they are of course landing over at South Boulevard. One of the reasons why they did so well in the second chance qualifier is because they were landing at North Boulevard, being coached by Sky and Scroll, so perhaps there is now some peace and animosity between these two duos, which should enable both of them to have a favourable tournament. I've got Dharm and Demas to finish in 6th place. They're landing over at their relatively new drop spot of South Frigid Fortress. Of course, in the FNCS Grand Finals, they were landing in various different places. Some games they were at Tip Top, some games they were at 4 Fields. So locking down the drop spot has been their main issue, but you can't deny their quality, and they should have a good finish here. Of course, they did win the first Divisional Cup of this season as well. I've got King, Cringe and Twy to come in 5th place. Now they're landing at their mid-map split, and listen, they're a team that have looked so solid from that area. They of course managed an 8th place finish in the FNCS Grand Finals from that very spot, and there is no reason why they can't build on that in this Divisional Cup. I've got Vico and Malabuka to come in 4th from Frigid Fortress, and honestly, this could be a way higher placement. There's just 3 teams above them that are really good as well, but I could easily see Vico and Malabuka challenging for the win. Focus and Thomas HD are my team in 3rd. If they can get some favourable zones, which has not been the case for them over basically the last month, then perhaps they can challenge for the win. I mean, they have undeniable quality. Focus should be back on relatively low ping. I do believe he's going to be boot camping in Serbia, so his performance shouldn't be too affected. I do believe these guys can finish well. In 2nd place, despite all my chat at the start of the video, I have still gone for Tjino and PabloWingu. Yes, they are an incredible duo. Yes, they have such insane fighting power, but of course there is just one team that has that incredible consistency, and that is Sky and Scroll. From North Boulevard, with that area completely uncontested, there is no reason why they won't win. We've seen it in the FNCS Grand Finals. They have such a tried and tested strategy, and really, I just don't think there's a team in the lobby that can get close to them. And we saw from the Game 11 in Grand Finals that they can defeat anyone that tries to land on them off spawn, so they will be incredibly feared. It's not like a team can just surprise contest them and grief them. Sky and Scroll are prepared, they're adaptable, and they're ready for any situation, and they are my pick to win the Divisional Cup Finals. Subscribe to stay up to date with European Fortnite content. Thank you very much for watching. See you in the next one.